Hi students. So let us move to the next part, which is coming under the supplementary part of the vector algebra. So in that part we are going to study with the scalar triple product. So in the beginning let us understand the what is scalar triple product, the definition of scalar triple product, the basic introduction regarding the scalar triple product, then some of the observed or the derived result regarding the scalar triple product, and what is the condition for the collinearity of three vectors when we say that the three vectors are collinear, what is that condition, and then problem based on the scalar triple product. So the scalar triple product, it is one of the important concept when it comes with the three-dimensional geometry, because this plays a very important role in the next chapter, that is a three-dimensional geometry. So the basic, what is scalar triple product? Suppose if I consider let vector A, vector B and vector C be any three vectors, then if we take the dot product or scalar product, of vector A and B cross C means, then the dot product of vector A and B cross C is nothing but a scalar triple product. That is the dot product of vector A dot B cross C. The dot product of vector A dot B cross C is called as a scalar triple product. Okay, in the short form I am representing it as STP in the rest of the explanation. So the dot product of vector A and B cross C is called as a scalar triple product, and it is represented in this order, that is vector A dot B dot C. It is in this order, the order is mattered here, so that is called as a scalar triple product, and we are going to denote this scalar triple product as, within the square bracket, vector A comma vector B comma vector C along this order itself, or else we can remove that comma and we can directly write vector A, vector B and vector C, and this is how we are going to denote the scalar triple product. Suppose if I write vector A comma vector B comma vector C, it implies vector A dot B cross C. So how we are writing this? The order should be written in the bracket in the same order. This is how we are going to denote the scalar triple product. So now let us understand what is the geometrical significance of this scalar triple product. So I am considering here parallelopipe. So parallelopipe, it is nothing but if we consider one of the parallelogram and increase to certain height. So I have considered here this parallelogram and I increased that to certain height. What we are going to get, that we are going to call it as parallelopipe. Suppose it's just similar to like your cube or cuboid. In case of cube, you are considering one of the square and increasing that square to some of the height. What we are going to get, it is nothing but a cube. Similarly here I am considering one of the parallelogram and increasing to certain height. What we are going to get, we are going to call it as a parallelogram. So geometrically what it is saying is, the volume of this parallelopipe, the volume of this parallelopipe is equal to vector A dot B cross C. They are saying that geometrically the volume of this parallelopipe is nothing but our scalar triple product. So let us understand how it is. So first thing, let us consider the base. So base is nothing but of a parallelopipe, it is obviously a parallelogram. So base is nothing but our parallelogram, you can see it. And we already know that what is the area of a parallelogram. When it comes to dot product and cross product, we have learned that area of parallelogram is nothing but here vector B cross C. It is nothing but a area of a parallelogram. I will call this one as equation 1. So to know the volume of a parallelopipe, so obviously we should know the height. But here the thing is that vector OA, it is a slanted one. We can't take a height of a slanted line. So we should need get a something which is of a perpendicular height. So how we are going to get that perpendicular height? So we know that the vector B cross C, the vector b cross c, whatever the vector we are going to get by the cross product of vector b and vector c, it will be perpendicular to both vector b and vector c, and I am representing that vector which is perpendicular to both vector b and vector c. It will be in this direction. So I will call this direction as vector b cross vector c, because this direction is nothing but the direction of a cross product of these two vectors. So this direction which I have marked with the dotted line is called as the direction of a cross product of vector b and vector c. Now I am considering projection of vector A on vector B cross C, because vector A, it is a slanted line. When I am considering the projection of vector A on vector B cross C, this is a perpendicular to both vector B and C. So projection of vector A on vector B cross C, we are going to get something which is nothing but a height of a parallelopipe. So projection of vector A on vector B cross C, it is nothing but it is representing the height of the parallelopipe. So what is the projection of vector A on vector B cross C? It is nothing but vector A dot vector B cross C divided by B cross C. I hope you might have remembered the projection of vector A on vector B. It is nothing but vector A dot vector B divided by vector B. So this is what I am represented here. So projection of vector A on B cross C, it is nothing but vector A dot B cross C divided by B cross C. Since the projection here is representing the height of a parallelopipe, the height of a parallelopipe cannot be negative, it is always positive. So I am taking, since this is nothing but the projection of height, here projection of height is nothing but height of a parallelopipe. Since height should be positive, I am considering the magnitude or a modulus of this projection of vector A on vector B cross C. The only reason to take the, so here area of parallelogram is also, it is the magnitude of vector B cross C, not only B cross C. So here it is positive, I am taking the modulus on both numerator and denominator. So this is nothing but a height of a parallelopipe. I am considering this one as equation 2. Now you got the area of the base of the parallelopipe and the height of a parallelopipe. So what will be the volume? Volume of the parallelopipe, it is equal to area of the base into height. So what is the area of the base? It is nothing but area of parallelogram, that is vector B, magnitude of vector B cross C. Height, it is nothing but magnitude of vector A dot B cross C divided by magnitude of vector B cross C. Here this is nothing but not a cross product, it is just a multiplication symbol. So this get cancels. So volume of parallelopipe is nothing but magnitude of vector A dot B cross C. So only this much is not only is the volume of a parallelopipe, but here volume, it cannot be a negative value. So we are considering the modulus of a given scalar triple product, that is vector A dot B cross C. So geometrical significance, what does it says? Vector A dot B cross C, it is representing the volume of a parallelopipe. So it gives a volume of a parallelopipe. This is regarding the general significance or geometrical significance regarding the scalar triple product. Now suppose if I consider the component of vector A, vector B and vector C in general form. So this is what the component of a vector A, vector B and vector C. So what is the scalar triple product? Definition is saying vector A dot vector B cross C is nothing but our scalar triple product. So what is this vector A dot vector B cross C? Let us verify that one with this component of this given vector in the general form. First, to know the dot product of these two vectors, First we should know what is vector B cross C. So let us find what is vector B cross C. How we are going to get vector B cross C? It is in the determinant form. The first row is nothing but I cap, j cap, k cap. Second row component of the first vector, that is b1, b2, b3. Third row is nothing but the component of the second vector c1, c2, c3. Now if I expand this determinant along the first row, it is nothing but I cap b2 c3 minus b3 c2 minus j cap b1 c3 minus c1 b3 plus k cap b1 c2 is minus b2 c1. So this is the expansion of this determinant along the first row. So this is, I'll call it as 1. It is nothing but vector B cross C. Now I need a dot product of vector A dot B cross C. So what is vector A? It is nothing but A1 I cap, A2 j cap, A3 k cap, and dot product of this vector, that is I cap b2 c3 minus b3 c2 minus j cap b1 c3 minus c1 b3 plus k cap b1 c2 minus b2 c1. Now we know the dot product how we used to take, that is a1 I cap, that is a1 b2 c3 minus b3 c2 first component. We know that a1 a2 a3 and b1 b2 b3 are the, for example I will write it here, a1 I cap plus a2 j cap plus a3 k cap into b1 I cap plus b2 j cap plus b3 k cap. If we are taking the dot product means then a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 b3 is the dot product. I am going with that method itself, a1 b1. So here a1 b2 c3 minus b3 c2 minus a2 b1 c3 minus c1 b2 c1 b3 plus a3 b1 c2 minus b2 c1. So I got this one as a dot product. You can observe properly here, this is nothing but the determinant where first row is replaced by a1 a2 a3, second row has it is b1 b2 b3, third row c1 c2 c3. So this is nothing but our vector A dot vector B cross C. So vector A dot vector B cross C is nothing but determinant of A1 A2 A3 B1 B2 B3 C1 C2 C3. It is nothing but we just replaced the first row with I cap j cap k cap with A1 A2 A3. That is nothing but the component of this vector. So you can see here clearly vector A dot B cross C is nothing but the determinant of this one. Therefore the scalar triple product is represented as a determinant value of the component of those three vectors. Now you can observe properly here, vector B cross C, it is a vector. Vector B cross C, it is a vector. By cross multiplication of these two vectors, we are going to get a vector. We are multiplying, we are taking the dot product of two vectors. This is again a vector. This is also a vector. The dot product of vector is always a scalar. So it is clear that scalar triple product is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar quantity because it is a vector. Dot product of two vector is always a scalar. So scalar triple product is a scalar quantity. So this is one of the property, and the property that is nothing but geometrical representation, derived result or observation. That is, the scalar triple product represents the volume of a parallelepiped, and the representation of this scalar triple product in the determinant form. So all these comes under your observed results. So the next observed result, what it is saying is, cyclic permutation of three vectors does not change the value of scalar triple product. So what is this cyclic permutation? So as you see, this is vector A, vector B, vector C. This is what the anti-clockwise direction is, nothing but a cyclic way I am representing. So vector A comma vector B, vector C, it is the scalar triple product how we are going to denote. If I change this cyclically, where vector A comes after vector B, where vector B comes after vector C, so that is nothing but, suppose if I write vector B, after vector B what it comes? Vector C, after C vector A. Suppose if I write vector C first, after vector C what it comes? Vector A, after vector A what it comes? Vector B. So if we maintain this cyclic notation, then upon changing, upon the cyclic permutation, the value of scalar triple product, it will not going to change. You can verify this one. Understood? Upon this cyclic, so A, B, C, suppose if I write B first, vector B first, then C, then A, the value of this two scalar triple product, it remains as it is. Suppose if you write vector C, vector A, vector B, it maintained this cyclic notation itself. So if we are going to maintain this cyclic way, then the cyclic permutation, then the value of the scalar triple product does not changes. The verification is considering the general notation, component form of vector A in the general form, a1 I cap, a2 j cap, a3 k cap of vector A, and component of vector B, that is b1 I cap, b2 j cap, and b3 k cap. Now and again vectors c1 I cap, c2 j cap, and c3 k cap. All these are components of three vectors. So we know that vector A dot vector B cross C is nothing but the determinant of first row is the first vector a1 a2 a3, second row second vector b1 b2 component of second vector, third row component of third vector, as I explained here already. So you can see here. Now suppose if I interchange any two rows or any two columns, means the sign is going to be changed. So what I am going to change first, I am going to change here R1 is interchanging with the R2. So upon changing R1 with R2, what we are going to get? B1, B2, B3, A1, A2, A3, C1, C2, C3. So upon interchanging any two rows, the sign of the determinant going to be get changed. This is what we studied while we are studying the properties of a determinant. If you didn't get, go to that concept, glance it, and then come back to this one. So by interchanging any two rows, the sign of the determinant is going to be get changed. Now again I am interchanging R2 with R3, that is I am interchanging these two rows. So again by interchanging, what it happens? B1, B2, B3 remains as it is, C1, C2, C3, A1, A2, A3. Again by interchanging any two row, the sign gets changed. So minus 1, minus into minus, it becomes plus. So now you can see this value. So what does this determinant represents? Vector B dot vector C cross vector A, right? Because you can see here clearly, when I used to write in this order, as I said in the beginning, the order of the vector, it is going to be matter. If I write vector A comma vector B comma vector C, means then vector A dot vector B cross C. So here first row, it is nothing but the component of vector B. So vector B dot vector C cross vector A. So now you can see here clearly that vector B dot vector C cross A by looking into this determinant. So I started with vector A dot vector B cross C. Upon interchanging two times with the two rows, we are going to get vector B dot C cross C. So what I can say, vector A dot vector B cross vector C is equal to vector B dot vector C cross A. Similarly, you can check with vector A dot vector B cross C. I mean, you can check with these two, considering this one as LHS and checking for this one to be coming has RHS has to be true. You can check it by yourself. So this is how I have verified this concept. So it is clear that with the cyclic permutation of any three vectors, there is no changes in the value of scalar triple product. So the next observed result is in the scalar triple product, that is vector A dot B cross C. This is nothing but a scalar triple product. The dot and cross product can be interchanged. So that is nothing but, if I write vector A dot B cross C, it can be interchanged. That is, this one is equal to vector A cross B dot vector C. This is what the statement is saying. So let us verify how it will be equal by interchanging the dot product and cross product. I will consider the LHS, that is vector A dot vector B cross C. So as I said in the beginning, this scalar triple product, it is denoted as vector A, comma vector B, comma vector C. In the previous note or in the previous observation, I said that vector A, vector B, vector C, if I change its cyclical in the cyclic permutation, the value is not going to be get changed. So this is equal to vector B, vector C, vector A, and this one is also equal to vector C, vector A and vector B. So now what does this represent? Vector C, vector A, vector vector B. It is nothing but vector C dot vector A cross B. This is what it denotes, right? Scalar triple product is denoted in this form, and this denotes it's directly equal to vector C dot vector A cross vector B. And we know that dot product is commutative, and we know that dot product is commutative. So what does this happen? This one is equal to vector A cross B dot vector C, which is nothing but our RHS. So we started with the LHS, that is vector A dot B cross C. Upon arguing with each and every statement with the help of definition as well as previous result, we came with the concept that vector A dot B cross C is equal to vector A cross B dot C. So what does it concludes? By interchanging the dot product and cross product, the scalar triple product remains same. The value of the scalar triple product, it is not going to be get changed. So listen carefully, in the scalar triple product, here we are not going to study something new or something new concept. Whatever till now we have studied, we are just putting it together and studying in the scalar triple product. That is, we have studied dot product, we have studied vector product, and we have come across the determinants, how we are going to take the values of the determinants. So putting all these together, the properties of each and every sector, that is dot product, vector product and the determinant, putting all this together, the scalar triple product definition and the concept regarding scalar triple product is going to be understood. So please understand it carefully. So as I said, if I go with the cyclic permutation, that is vector A, vector B, vector C, if I go in this anti-clockwise direction, then our scalar triple product value, it is not going to change. That is vector A, vector B, vector C. If I take vector B in the beginning, followed by vector C, followed by vector A, this value is also equal to vector C, vector A, vector B. So this is what we studied in the property 4. That is, upon cyclic permutation, value is not going to be get changed. Suppose if I changed it randomly without considering the cyclic permutation, that is, here if I have vector A, vector B, vector C, I randomly change. First I took vector A, vector C, vector B. If I changed it randomly means, then the value of these two scalar triple product is going to be changed with the negative sign. So this value is negative times this value if I changed it randomly without considering this cyclic permutation. So how can I verify this one? This is the sixth observed result. So I am considering with the LHS, that is vector A, vector B, vector C. I can write it as vector A dot vector B cross C. And we already know the property that vector B cross C is equal to negative times of vector C cross B, because cross product is not a commutative. So I am using that property, that is vector B cross C negative times vector C cross B. Taking that minus sign outside, what it is remaining, vector A dot vector C cross B. So what does this is going to be denoted? It is nothing but vector A, vector C, vector B, which is nothing but our RHS. So negative times of the result, which is nothing but our RHS. So this is how it is going to be. So with your practical knowledge, you can easily say no need of this much of verification with your practical knowledge. So what is vector A, vector B, vector C is going to be denoted. Sorry, if I write it in the component means A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3 and C1, C2, C3. This is what vector A, vector B, vector C. Suppose if I interchange any two row or column, that is I am interchanging R2 with R3. What we are going to get? A1, A2, A3, C1, C2, C3, B1, B2, B3. And we know that interchanging any two row or column, the determinant value is going to be changed with the negative sign. What does this is going to say? It is nothing but vector A, vector C, vector B. So just link the scalar triple product to the determinant. The concept is even easier than understanding compared to this one, because this thing is already which you have learnt before. So this is how I linked the scalar triple product concept to the determinant also and understood the property 6. This is what the property 6 is saying. Suppose if you are changing it randomly without considering the cyclic permutation, means then the value of determinant or the value of scalar triple product is going to be changed with the negative sign. So the next and the one of the property or the observation is vector A, vector B is equal to 0. That is, suppose if we have any two identical vector means then the value is equal to 0. How you can verify this one? Suppose if I consider the LHS, this is nothing but vector A dot vector A cross vector B. As I said, here dot product and cross product can be interchanged. So what does this imply? This implies vector A cross vector A dot vector B. We know that cross product of any two identical vector is 0 vector. 0 vector dot B vector is always 0, because if we multiply any vector with a 0 vector, we are going to get 0. This we are going to get 0. Suppose with the determinant idea, if I am going to deal with this, means vector A is nothing but A1, A2, A3. Vector A again A1, A2, A3. Vector B, B1, B2, B3. So you can see here properly, first row and second row are identical. If any two row or any two columns are identical means then the determinant value is equal to 0. This is what it is saying. So irrespective of the position of these vectors, that is if I write vector A, vector B, vector A, or vector B, vector A, vector A, irrespective of the position of the vectors, if we are having any two vectors identical means then the scalar triple product value is equal to 0. You can check it by yourself. For this one or this one, we are going to get the value is equal to 0 itself. So the next concept is coplanarity of three vectors. So coplanarity means it is clear that the three vectors are lying in the same plane. Coplane means same plane. So here is one of the theorem. What does that theorem is saying means, if we consider three vectors to be coplanar means, then the scalar product, triple product is will be equal to 0. So it will be we are going to prove this theorem. It is a if and only if condition. So we are having both if and then condition. So the first thing is, I am considering the three vectors, let vector A, vector B and vector C. So first I am going with the if condition, that is three vectors, that is vector A, vector B, vector C are coplanar. If these three are coplanar means, then our scalar triple product is 0. Suppose since it is a coplanar means all the three vectors are lying in the same plane. Suppose if I consider the plane is nothing but our book. So if all the three vectors are lying in the same plane means, the first possibility, if I am saying if vector B and vector C are parallel, since it is lying in the same plane, if these two are parallel means, what does that happens? Vector B cross C will be equal to 0 vector. So vector B cross C is 0 vector means, if I multiply any vector with the B cross C, where B cross C is nothing but 0 vector, since those are parallel, if I take the dot product of any vector with the 0 vector means it is 0 itself. So if these two vectors are parallel means, then we are going to get scalar triple product is equal to 0. Suppose if vector B and vector C are not parallel, if they are not parallel means, then what happens? Since they are saying vector B, vector C and vector B and vector C are coplanar means, clearly observe properly here, these two are parallel. I am saying these three are coplanar. Then vector B cross C, if I consider vector B cross C, it will be perpendicular to both vector B and vector C, right? Suppose if I consider vector A, vector B and vector C, vector A, vector B and vector C. Okay, so now if I consider vector B, so I said these two are parallel in the beginning. If it is parallel, then our scalar triple product is 0. Suppose if it is not parallel, I am saying it is not parallel. It is not parallel means, obviously if I take the cross product of vector B and vector C means, whatever the cross product, it will be perpendicular to both vector B and vector C. Suppose if I consider that perpendicular direction is the direction of this pen. Okay, so this direction of this pen represents the cross product of vector B and vector C. Now this direction of pen is nothing but the direction of vector B and vector C, and it is perpendicular to both vector B and vector C. So it is clear that when this is perpendicular to both of these things and all the three, that is B cross C is perpendicular to both the vectors and all the threes are lying in the same plane means, what does that imply? This is perpendicular to our vector A also, because all the threes are lying in the same plane, that is our plane is book. So what happens to the dot product? This one is perpendicular to both the vectors and all the threes are lying in the same plane. Therefore, our vector B cross C, it is perpendicular to vector A also. So it is perpendicular to vector A means the dot product will be equal to 0. So in the both the condition, if it is parallel also, if it is not parallel also means what? Our scalar triple product is, that is vector A dot B cross C, it is equal to 0. This is our direct way of proving, that is, if three vectors are coplanar means, then the scalar triple product is 0. Conversely, suppose if our scalar triple product is 0, that is vector A dot B cross C is 0, then what happens? First condition, I will consider all the three vectors are not equal to 0 vector. Suppose all of them are non-zero vectors means, then the first thing, vector A and vector B cross C, even this if these are non-zero means, then obviously this one also becomes what? Not equal to 0. If vector A and vector B, if these two vectors, vector A and B cross C vectors are not equal to 0 means, then we can say, because here we are having two vectors, that is vector A and the cross product of these two vectors. They are saying that vector A dot B cross C is equal to 0, and all the two vectors are not equal to 0 means what does that implies? Vector A, it is perpendicular to vector B cross C, right? Because the dot product of two vectors is equal to 0 means what? Then those two vectors are perpendicular to each other. So what does vector B cross vector C is saying? As I said here, if this is vector B cross C means then vector B cross C, it is perpendicular to both vector B and vector C. So what does B cross C is saying? It is perpendicular to both vector B and vector C. Now you can observe here properly. The dot product of vector A dot vector B cross C is equal to 0 when all the two vectors, that is vector A and vector B cross, are not equal to 0. In that case, dot product is equal to 0 means what does that implies? Then these two vectors are perpendicular to each other. So vector A is perpendicular to vector B cross C. So what does vector B cross C is saying? It is vector B cross C, that vector, it is perpendicular to vector B as well as vector C. So now you can observe properly that vector A is perpendicular to this vector and this vector is perpendicular to these vector means then clearly all the three vectors are lying in the same plane, right? Vector B, vector C are in the same plane, that is same plane, that is nothing but coplanar. You can observe this thing with this diagram. Think it in the three-dimensional way also. Imagination is the most important thing when we are doing these type of concepts. So first thing what it is saying, vector B cross C, as I said here, if vector B cross C is this direction means vector A is perpendicular to this pen, that is the direction of this pen represents vector B cross C. That is the first thing. So vector A is perpendicular to this direction, that is B cross C direction. The next thing what B cross C is saying, by the definition itself, B cross C is perpendicular to vector B and vector C. So this pen direction, it is always perpendicular to vector B as well as vector C. So after doing understanding these two conditions, you can observe clearly that vector A, vector B, vector C, all these three lie on the same plane, that is the plane is nothing but book itself. So vector A, vector B, vector C are coplanar. This is the first condition when it is not equal to 0. Suppose if vector A is equal to 0 vector, suppose if vector A is equal to 0 vector, then vector A is 0 means it will lying on the plane at some point. So vector A will be in the coplanar, it will be in the plane itself. And we know that if we take vector B cross C means if any 0 vector is taken a dot product with the any other vector means then obviously these two vectors will be lying in the same plane itself. Because if we consider any two vector, first thing any two vector is going to be lie in one plane itself. So these two vectors are lying in the plane called book. If that plane two vectors is dot producted with the 0 vector means then it is lying in the plane, only one plane, that is same plane itself. So if one vector is 0 means then it will be a coplanar. Suppose if vector B cross C is equal to 0 vector, if it is a 0 vector, then what does that implies? Vector B is parallel to vector C. So we already know one of the thing is, consider, imagine it, I am drawing it in the plane right now. Try to imagine in the three-dimensional also. If I consider any two vector, let it be vector A and let it be vector B. If I consider any two vector means then two vectors should be lie in one plane itself. So I am considering vector A and vector B which is lying in the plane called book. If I need to draw any parallel vector, if I need to draw any vector which is parallel to any one of these two vector means then that vector should lie in that same plane itself. Because if I am drawing some vector like this which is parallel to vector B means then that vector should be lying in the same plane, that is book itself. Because if I can't draw the vector parallel to vector B in the opposite plane like this one, because that vector is not parallel. Think this in the three-dimensional, with the corner of your room taking the corner as xyz axis, and think this. So if we are going to take any two vectors in a plane, means if we need to draw any parallel vector to any of the vector, means then that parallel vector and that two vectors going to be lying in the same plane. So that is what he is saying. Vector b cross c is equal to 0 means these two are parallel. If these two are parallel vector, means if we consider any vector, means vector a with vector b, and I am drawn a parallel vector vector c, means then all these still lying in the same plane. So thus with the two condition also we are saying that vector a, vector b and vector c are coplanar. So the derivation part, what I have did, try to understand it three-dimensionally. The derivation, it might be not important for your examination point of view, but the ideas what I have tried to explain here, it is very important for your understanding purpose. Because any of the question, if they are going to ask, means if you try to analyze the ideas which I have given here, it is very important to understand. Most of the things, unsolved questions can be solved with these theories. If you understand this one, you can solve most of the questions. So the main thing, or the main thing which we need to note down here is, if three vectors are coplanar, means then the scalar triple product is 0. This is only the thing which we are required to solve the problem. So any problem regarding coplanarity is going to arise, means this itself, not about the proof of this theorem, but the idea of proof is very important to the understanding purpose. Here is one of the remark which is coming under this section, that is, suppose if they have given you 4 points, that is A, B, C, D, and asked you to show that these 4 points are lying in the same plane. So this concept can be proved or showed by the concept of coplanarity of three vectors. Suppose if I consider this one as our point A, B, C, D, we can consider three vectors here, that is vector AB, vector AC and vector AD. So 4 points are lying in the same plane, that is plane is book, and I consider the three vectors. Now with the concept of coplanarity of three vectors, I can show that is vector AB dot vector AC cross vector AD. If this scalar triple product is equal to 0, means then these three vectors are lying in the same plane. If three vectors are lying in the same plane, means what does that implies? A, B, C, D is lying, that 4 points are lying in the same plane. So the concept of showing any 4 points lying on the same plane, it can be proved with or it can be showed with the concept of coplanarity of three vectors.